Hello everyone, this audio track goes along with the presentation Chennai Trekking Club, Building a Community. Created this one a couple of months back for the All India Managers Meet of Decathlon in Bangalore, but I think it gives a beautiful overview also of 10 years of evolution of CTC since its inception in 2008, February. If you look at the first slide, human needs, you can see the stark contrast between left, the modern day living environment full of concrete, chaos, stress, schedule, pollution, completely disconnected basically from the right side, the natural environment that we originally evolved from as human beings and any living species on this planet. So next slide, the seed was sown. Here I'm basically trying to capture that exposure is essential, especially during the young days when your mind is very perceptive of new experiences. I think it's very important for us to take our youth and our children closer to nature, to get them very active, involve them in sports, physical activities, which will make a huge impact on their further life basically. Discovering a new continent. So this slide captures my early days in Chennai when I came over in 98. I got myself one of these Enfield Bullet Lightnings 535cc, which rolled for some 50,000 kilometers over 2 years. Here a picture from a trip in the Himalayas between Manali and Leh in 2000. So coming to India really opened up something magical inside me. The beauty of the Indian subcontinent made a big impact on me, more than Europe, which is more kind of a bit more, taken over by human civilization and human cultivation. In India, there's still a lot of raw and virgin nature that allows us to reconnect with our roots. Into the wilds in the 2007-2008 time frame. I started going on small hikes with a couple of friends from the office, Scientific Atlanta. Here you see a picture of the beautiful Venkateswara National Reserve Forest, one of these gorgeous crystal clear streams, beautifully formed gorges in nature, just 3-4 hours from Chennai actually. That really, gave us amazing weekends of adventure and a lot of positive energy, spending 2 full days close to nature. Next slide together is more fun. So after we had done like some 8 to 10 small trips together with friends from the office, some climbing some hills near Mahabs, climbing the Jinji Fort, going to Shaklespur railway track, going to Tada Falls. I actually got addicted to adventure and outdoors and really wanted to do this on a regular basis. But in order to do so, I needed to connect with like-minded souls. And the guys in the office were slowly, of course, disappearing to marriage, getting relocated to other places, busy with new work or new studies. So I pushed everyone to make a nice write-up and collected all the photos of those initial 10 trips and created a blog, the Chennai Trekking Club, which had one link, join us, which connected to a mailing list to keep people with a similar interest updated on the upcoming trips of the group. So then platform and technology. So we had all the right tools at that moment in the 2008 timeframe. Google Maps came with beautiful terrain maps of India. Previously it was very difficult to find topographic maps of this country. Google Groups had a mailing list to keep our members in the loop on upcoming trips and flood them with photos and experiences of completed trips. Blogger provided a beautiful platform also from Google to keep blogging about our trips, which was very important to keep the blog active and to keep new people coming to us. Google search, of course, was essential for people interested, people with base in Chennai or South India interested in adventure and outdoors to find us. And then things like Google Docs allowed us to maintain registrations for activities, Google Photos, and then later, a couple of years later, Facebook allowed us to upload and share photos, which helped us a lot in reaching out to new people. Growths within a couple of months from that setting up the website in February 2008, we were going out with 20-30 people, mix of new and existing people every single weekend, and keeping up this weekly momentum of organizing treks and then bike trips and other types of activities on a weekly basis. Scaled up the group very fast to I think 2000 in the first year, and many more thousands after that. How did it happen? I think here I tried collecting some of the essential things that made CTC grow exponentially to what it is today, 40,000 plus members. One obviously is Google search, and later then Facebook, which allowed us new people to find us basically. That was very important. That finding only worked because we were very active in blogging, writing about the trips we did, because we went to beautiful virgin places immediately. A lot of photographers in the early days, the SLR guys, and later on the guys with the smartphone cameras joined us and beautifully captured those natural places, which attracted a lot of new people after that. Membership based was essentially, rather than joining us once and then moving on, we maintained a mailing list. So even though you didn't join the last weekend trek, you got all the photos, you got the write-ups. So people being just members, even though they didn't join, were very excited seeing all these beautiful pictures. Momentum was key. We never skipped a weekend, I think, in the last 520 weekends over 10 years, or organizing some activity during each weekend. Another important fundamental pillar of CTC obviously is that it's non-profit. There's no side intention. Nobody makes a profit out of it, but it's like everyone is equal. Everyone pays their own share, organizer or not organizer. And then more than organizer, it's a volunteer-based culture. So 20 people going on a trek basically means that every one of these 20 guys will contribute in some way or the other, whether it's organizing, planning, navigating, photography, write-up, accounts, fetching water from the stream, cooking. So everyone is engaged, and that really makes it more interesting rather than going to a third-party travel company where everything gets served on a plate. And then last point, of course, is CTC would not be what it is without beautiful mountains nearby the city like Nagalapuram, Nagari, Tala Falls, Venkateswara, and more. Then, okay, these are all the initial things. Then in November 2009, just 1.5 years after the inception of the group, we very naturally started evolving into environmental awareness, basically. Initially initiated in Tala waterfalls, where there was a lot of pollution and a trail of trash left behind by the so-called eco-tourist visitors. We cleaned up the place with some 150 people, removed 2 tons of garbage, 2009 November. And after that, it has kept growing with the annual Chennai coastal cleanup. Then I-99, a couple of years later, came into place with tree plantations. And we started collaborating with corporates, NGOs, governments in our green activities. Again, even before we went to green, social responsibility popped up in January 2009, less than a year after the founding of the group, with social treks. We had some 10-15 orphanages in and around the city, which through Tilak and other people, we started doing monthly social treks, taking out these less privileged kids on a once in a lifetime experience, taking them to the same beautiful places that our members went, sponsored, transport and food sponsored by the members, of course. So then team building, trekking more than any other sport is like a team activity. It's not like 20 people doing 20 individual treks, but it's one team, one mission, a lot of activities there, like setting up the camp, preparing food, putting ropes across streams, ferrying luggages and non-swimmers. There's a lot of, team building that goes into a trek in a 2-day weekend into the wild, where you're disconnected from your societal comforts and where you need to survive as a group. So that really resulted in CTC being open, taking 20 strangers on a Saturday morning together on 3 assembly points in the city, and bringing them back on Sunday night as basically friends for life, having forged strong bonds between these people, surviving 2 days into the wild. Sports, then I still remember after all that hiking, we also wanted to organize a small run in 2012. So we set up a 100 rupee 20-kilometer run initially along the Buckingham Canal, which was then later going to be the Chennai Trail Marathon Edition 1, and which turned out a 500 participant event. So this was the start of our big annual sports events, which we organized every year, initially with Chennai Trail Marathon, and then very soon we started doing triathlons. We had the Javadu Ultra, and then even this year we introduced the Kola Hills Ultra. So these annual events were taking sports at a much bigger scale, involving thousands of people in annual recurring events, and also involving like hundreds of volunteers behind the scenes to organize these kind of events. So that was a really amazing evolution 4 years after the start of the group. Teaching, one other important thing that we have done throughout the years is sharing knowledge about various topics related to CTC, like map reading, navigation, snake workshops. A couple of people who were mountaineers. We did a lot of photography workshops and other type of knowledge sharing activities. So that always resulted in my living room full of people, and later on hundreds of people in ePageMaker. From the second edition of CTC in 2010, we started organizing our annual symposium Trek Polama, where we invited a couple of prominent individuals which had done something worthwhile during their life journey in the fields of outdoors, adventure, sports, environment, to give a talk at our annual anniversary in ePageMaker, Tirunvalmur. So to inspire our members basically in various ways. Then in acceleration in 2015 December, CTC got the whole growth and the momentum got accelerated by the Chennai floods, a national calamity, where again, without any planning or whatever, CTCans, volunteers came together and stood up for the momentum, for the moment. Within a couple of days after the floods, we had like 300-400 members running around our relief center in Tambaram, unloading lorries with relief materials, putting together family relief kits, which were distributed to the people affected in the lesser known areas around Chennai. So an amazing show by Chennai Trekking Club in basically relief work. Diversification. So over those 10 years, from originally treks and also a couple of bike trips, we evolved in so many other activities, environment, social, a lot of sports, cycling, running, swimming, open water swimming activities, snake walks, workshops, fitness tests, organic farming, zero waste, etc. So beauty about these things is that nothing was planned in advance. Everything happened actually very natural. Every year some 2-3 new types of outdoor streams or activities came onto the agenda. So reaching out, creating momentum. So how did we become such a magnanimous group. So various things actually, I would say. Obviously the traditional news media. If you look at it, we have some 300 news articles now. More than outdoors, many of the articles are on the social and environmental activities we have been doing. Then of course blogging. Blogging was essential only because we have been writing some 1,500 blogs, mostly experiences by new members, and lakhs of beautiful photos from the places we went to. Only because of that, I think Google and Facebook are popping up our website as on top of the search results for anyone interested in adventure or outdoors. Then obviously digital photography, which started 10-15 years ago through SLRs and smartphones, made a huge difference in capturing the spirits of our activities and the beauty of the places we went to, and sharing it with the people to join us in future trips. The fact that we are membership based and that everyone stays in the daily loop on what's happening made a big difference in building up that momentum. And then of course social media, as Facebook came into place in 2009, 2010, I think it started picking up momentum that made a huge difference in reaching out to like-minded people who were interested in outdoors. Then of course, if you look at our activities, we organize more than 300 activities every year, involving thousands of people. So word of mouth also came into place in reaching out to new people. Apart from the weekly activities, we have the annual sports events, more than 10 now, which again reaches out to some 5,000 people on an annual basis and created a lot of momentum. And then lastly, but not least, collaboration with other NGOs, sports groups, government allowed us to scale out very fast. Funding then. Funding up till a couple of years back, we didn't have any formal organization. We are just an internet-based mailing list. But as we started doing, organizing large sports events involving thousands of people and also quite a bit of money, obviously there to cover our cost, there was a need to set up a CTC trust, a CTC fund, to make sure that the accounts were transparent and justify to the government that we are indeed not non-profit. Then 2 years back, I would say, we entered into warp speed. From the regular 52 weekends in the year, we kind of started running out of time, not enough weekends anymore in a year. So we started doing activities on weekday mornings before the start of the office. So that actually brought us from 52 weekends to 365 days, where a lot of activities, initially running, then open water swimming, then cleanups, and then also 99 started planting and maintaining trees during the weekdays. So we really multiplied the number of activities and the number of people participating in our events. A look at the numbers. So this table was created somewhere end of 2017. Shows the numbers for 1 year of CTC. It shows both the weekly events and the annual events. So the kind of top type of events and the number of people participating in those. So you can see here that we involved around 3,500 people in weekly activities. This even does not include many of the weekday morning activities which we do, including the cleanup drives and the open water swimming and so. And then the annual events on the right side, where also we have some 5,000 plus people participating. So taking all this into account, CTC easily reaches out to some 10,000 people in a 1 year time frame, which is huge. Next slide, creating leaders. I'm gonna skip. That's a bit more focused towards decathlon. Building an organization also we can skip, a bit more towards that other purpose. So then join the family. So that's it basically. So CTC has a presence through its website, which is basically a big blog. The entry link to sign up new members, and then obviously we are there on Facebook, and then we have separate Facebook groups for our 99, the Red Knights, and the Zero Kupa communities. So that gives a little bit of 10-year evolution of the group. Hopefully people who joined us more recently will have a better idea now how we evolved to the current day Chennai Trekking Club. Thank you.